Good morning. It is 9:23 a.m. on Sunday, December 12th, 2021. What is that slogan? Da, 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 da. It's the Rice-A-Roni. So, I just discovered something. My Twitter yesterday randomly decided to start giving me new tweet notifications, meaning it'll pop up with a notification, and then I look at the notification, and the notification is, look, this person that you follow tweeted. I'm like, why is that a notification? That's what the whole rest of your website does. But what I discovered, I'm not sure why it started doing that, but what I have since discovered is that it is doing that for profiles where if you look on someone's Twitter profile and see if you're following them or not, there's also a little bell that can either be checked or not checked. And if it is checked, it is giving me those notifications for when they tweet. I don't recall ever clicking that on purpose, so for the number of people that it says I have it clicked for, I think I don't know why. But now that I'm aware of that functionality, I think that's actually great, because it means that what I can do is once I get, it filtered better so that so that it's not constantly giving me notifications about the tweets that I'm already seeing because they're on my tweet list. But what I could, for example, do is that if I was trying to monitor some specific profile and wanting to know specifically when they tweet, like if I'm waiting for an announcement or something, that I could set a notification for. And that way, I don't run the risk of missing their tweet in the stream otherwise. So I don't hate the functionality, which has probably, frankly, been there for a while and I just haven't been using. And so on that basis, the fact that I know about it now because it arbitrarily turned it on for a bunch of things that I didn't ask for, I still feel like they could have done that better. They could have sent me a little notification to say, hey, did you know you could do it like this? Instead of having me just have to, out of frustration, Google search what was happening. Yeah, anyway, so yesterday let's see, what did I do? I finished watching, I pretty much binged season 2 of Lock and Key, which I really enjoyed, kind of more than I was expecting. You definitely have to get to the point where you are past caring about how closely it adheres to the comic, because it's just not, and that's fine. Just like it was fine for the Cowboy Bebop live action show to do that. I've still just got lingering bitter feelings about the Cowboy Bebop because, on the one hand, I never asked for it. I didn't want a live action version of the anime. I, generally speaking, think live action remakes of cartoons are bad and shouldn't happen, period. Now, there are exceptions that I certainly enjoy. The Speed Racer movie is a prime example of being one of my favorite movies. But it's also an adaptation of a cartoon that I really didn't care about at all before. So when we talk about, hey, remember this favorite cartoon of yours? We're going to make a live action version. My reaction is always, please don't. Don't do that. If you want to make more of the animated one, okay. But let's not just make the same story again in a different format. No. Please don't. Stop. Disney is a capital offender in this regard. But the point is, though, that, I think, given that I never wanted it to exist, and perhaps I had low expectations for it, and then I watched it, and it was fine. I liked it. I mean, I didn't become instantly one of my favorite shows or anything, but I was interested enough in it. But then especially like a lot of the reaction to it was just so like mean spirited that it bothered me because like this is probably this is something you always need to kind of process in your head a little bit, because I think that it's possible with the internet these days to watch a minority of opinion express themselves in an aggressive way, and then later to watch a different segment of the internet express themselves in an aggressive way that contradicts the first opinion. And realistically, those are two different groups of people, so of course they have different opinions. But the perception from the viewing can sometimes be, people said this, and then people said this. What do they want? And the answer is they're different people, and they want different things. So the reality is there's no problem except in our ability to comprehend the internet, which simultaneously is comprised of millions of different people with their own cross purposes and different feelings and different opinions, and nonetheless still feel like the internet is a thing. You know what it's like? It's like my realization about visiting the Grand Canyon. I thought ahead of time about the Grand Canyon as big, certainly, but it was a thing in a place, and you could go to that place and see the thing that is the Grand Canyon. But then when I get there, I realize it's bigger by an order of magnitude than I really had processed in my head. It is not a place. It is an entire region that can be viewed from many different angles that are all different from one another. And if you are in one place on the Grand Canyon versus a very different place on the Grand Canyon, you are not seeing the same things. So you could have both of those people say, I went to the Grand Canyon and I saw this. And then you have someone else say, well, but I didn't see that. I went to the Grand Canyon and I saw something else. And the answer is not that they are, like, one person is wrong. The answer is that they both saw the Grand Canyon, which is a big and complex thing. The internet's kind of like that. Anyway, Lock and Key Season 2 was good. I'll leave it there, and I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.